Today, we're diving into an inspiring journey with our favorite patient, Stephanie.
My name is Stephanie. I'm 41. I'm a flight attendant. I have lost 57 pounds since March 1st, so about 5-6 months, averaging about 10 pounds a month.
Who over the last 5 months has been able to shed an incredible 57 pounds. She's navigated some highs.
I came home and spent the day with my family. Finally, at the end of the night, my sister-in-law was like, all right, we got to talk about this. Like, what is going on? And so I was like, oh yeah, like, you noticed.
And some lows.
I get back on the treadmill, and then like the next announcement, the lockdown continues. I'm like, man, I'm going to eat my feelings.
And she even said Taco Bell might be feeling her absence.
I'm surprised Taco Bell has not called to check on me to see how I'm doing, because they have not seen me in almost 6 months, and I'm sure they were worried about me.
But Stephanie's transformation goes beyond weight loss. Stephanie transformed her life, enlisted the right support, and used semaglutide as a tool to reach her weight loss goal.
Other people I heard like, oh, I've lost so much weight this week. And so at first I was like, I'm not doing it as well. And then I realized like, no, I feel like, again, this is more sustainable, and I like the process for me.
Let's dive into her story.
Could you tell me a little bit about your lifestyle and what you do?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a flight attendant, so it's a pretty interesting, different lifestyle. It's flexible, but it's also can be somewhat stringent with your schedule. So just different. It's hard to explain sometimes.
Could you tell me about your weight gain? What was your life like before your weight gain? What were your activities and about that?
I feel like I definitely used to be more active. I was a runner like growing up, and that kind of got away from me. When I was motivated to get back into it, it always seemed to kind of come naturally to get back into it again. So yeah, I like to go for runs. I'd ride my bike to the beach and stuff like that. I was like consistently active, but I definitely had more of an active lifestyle and would try to keep up on that. And then I feel like probably with everyone, it's a very easy excuse, but 2020 came and that was pretty garbagey for everybody. And so I think that was kind of like the turning point, obviously. And I feel like I struggle with like, I'll get on a motivation kick and I'll be really, really good for a while. It only takes like one thing to kind of derail me and make an excuse. And then the next thing I know, it's like I haven't been doing this routine, all of a sudden now I haven't done it for months. So I feel like 2020 kind of started that. And I would be like, okay, I've gained some weight, let me lose it. And so I'd get back on the treadmill. And then like the next announcement, the lockdown continues. I'm like, I'm going to eat my feelings. And so I think it was just kind of that perpetuated. And then there was a loss in my family, which was pretty devastating. And so I think that coupled with, all the COVID stuff, I think I kind of just stopped taking care of myself for a little bit. And it kind of sneaks up on you, especially like, they don't kid around about the whole metabolism slowing down when you get older. Thought that was a myth. It's not. And yeah, so I think that coupled with just like aging and life and just everything, the next thing I know, I'm like, where'd these 40, 50 pounds creep up from? And so, I don't think I cared for a while. I'm like, whatever. And then I noticed like, why am I going up uniform size to uniform size? Like, this is only going to get harder as I get older, obviously. So maybe it's time to finally just take the plunge. I got to make a change.
That's amazing. Every time I hear your story, I learn a little bit something new about your motivation and your journey. That's great. Can you tell me how you found the Florida Concierge and Dr. G?
So I had a few coworkers that I hadn't seen them in a while, and then I see them after. I'm like, whoa, you look pretty svelte. Like, what's going on? And so I'd heard about like all the different injections and all the different other names and stuff, but I never really considered that an option for me. I thought that was something that was just completely unattainable for the celebrities and whatnot. When I wasn't sure if I had to go through an insurance doctor or whatever, I had a friend that he was like, we should try a med spa. And I'm like, what's a med spa? And so I kind of just Googled med spas near me. And this one popped up and it looked like a nice facility. And I figured, well, I'll just give it a shot. I'll go for a consultation. Like, what do I have to lose? 57 pounds? No. But yeah, so it really was just kind of a Google search and what was nearby and what looked on the up and up.
Great. Could you tell us what your experience has been like since you've been here? How was the medications experience been with you and the experience with the office with Dr. G and the consultation and everything?
I feel like everything about this has been absolutely incredible. I couldn't have asked for a better outcome, better success. I remember when I came in for the first consultation and we just talked about what are my goals, what are my motivations, what brings me here, etc. And I remember I wanted, like, in my mind, like 50 pounds was like the number that I had in my head. Because I'd gotten up to 253. I feel like under 200 is a good goal, but I also wanted it to be realistic. And so I remember saying that to you in our first little consultation interview. I'm also very guilty. Like I said earlier, it's easy for me to get derailed. So I didn't want to like set this lofty goal that was completely unattainable and then be like, meh, like I'm not reaching it. And so get me to stop. So I want to be realistic. But you were really supportive and you're like, no, that's a very realistic goal as long as you obviously take accountability and you do the work as well. I think coming into the office every week, I know we've discussed this too, I feel like that's helped keep me accountable as well. Just knowing that I'm going to see the staff and I'm getting to know them, and it always feels really great. I feel very supported. I feel happy to see them. They seem happy to see me. And I can tell they're thrilled with my weight loss and the success I've had. I just think the whole thing has been great. It feels like I have a whole team of support around me whenever I come in here.
Wow. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. I'm going to ask you now, how has the feelings that you had about your weight, has there been any changes in yourself, maybe, socially or in your confidence? Have you come down some sizes in the uniforms and stuff? We haven't talked about that. Have you been having to go back to some older ones or ordering some newer uniforms? How's that been changing for you?
Definitely. I got back into the size when I first started, and I just recently ordered a smaller one. So that felt really great. It's not just about the number on the scale. I just feel like this whole thing has been a blessing. And when I run into old coworkers or just friends, actually, I have a friend visiting right now and he hasn't seen me in a year. And he was just like, you look so great. And it's always the same thing. You never looked bad before. I never felt bad before, just that drastic, what I let go. And I definitely felt like I lost a little bit of myself and I wasn't super happy with, when you see yourself in pictures, I'm like, oh no, like that's not what I look like in the mirror or in my head, and like lies. I think I was not feeling the greatest about myself. And now I'm sure I'm annoying the crap out of my friends with all of this, but I keep like going into my closet and finding clothes I haven't worn in like 6 years. I'm like, check it out. But they're all always very supportive and they've had my back the whole time too. And they're very excited for me. So that's nice to see. Again, not just the number, but just like physically the change. And I went home recently and I told some of my family about what I was decided to do, but I hadn't told everybody. And so I came home and spent the day with my family. Finally, at the end of the night, my sister-in-law was like, all right, we got to talk about this. Like, what is going on? And so I was like, oh yeah, like you noticed. But no, I just feel like everything has been great. I feel better. And this is going to sound so corny or silly, but just little stuff, like even on the plane, like just bending down or getting down to pick something off the floor, or before I'd be like, I might just kick that. Because it's just, I felt like it was just a struggle just to bend over, just do minimal physical things. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, I got that. Just feel better, like overall, like physically, mentally.
Have you been able to make any changes in your nutrition and your exercise routine or your lifestyle as a result of the ability to hold down your appetite and get these, the positive feedback from losing the weight? Have you been able to make any lifestyle changes?
Yeah, it's been minimal, but I feel like that's also kind of a good part with this medication is that it just made everything feel a little bit more attainable and possible. Because again, as I mentioned before, I feel like it would be like all or nothing with me. So it's like complete restriction and you got to work out every day and you got like just depriving, and that's impossible to maintain. And so with this, I felt like it just kind of gave me a little bit more wiggle room and freedom that I needed to kind of just like give myself a little bit of grace. And it doesn't have to be, and you were always really supportive where you're like, just any type of change, it doesn't matter as long as it's just something small. So I've started to try to like do little workouts in my room on my layovers and try to get my treadmill out a little bit more. And then with the eating, I'm just more thoughtful and like more mindful, because obviously it does make you feel fuller faster and you are like kind of eating a little less. I'm just like, okay, well, what am I eating? Almost, I don't want to say like, let's make the most of it, but kind of, yeah. I'm surprised Taco Bell has not called to check on me to see how I'm doing, because they have not seen me in almost 6 months. And I'm sure they were worried about me. Your stocks are fine, I'm sure. I've noticed fast food was definitely a very easy staple in my life, where it was just like, it's fast, it's simple, especially with like my traveling lifestyle. I've noticed that like it doesn't even like, it just doesn't sound appealing to me sometimes. Or I'm like, I want to find something different because I know this might be one of my main meals for the day. It's like, I want to make it count, make it be good. So I've definitely noticed, being more thoughtful about what I put in my face. Like with traveling, obviously there's more preparation and you have to think about, okay, like what's my day going to look like? And again, I'm full of excuses. And so it was very easy to be like, well, I'm flying today and this was my only option. And it's like, no, it wasn't. I fly with plenty of people that are super healthy and meal prep. And so I just, again, it was just more put the onus on me, like you need to start packing food, to not have this excuse, or you can find a better option in the airport or things like that. I don't think I've made drastic changes. I'm still a human. And that was another good part of this. I feel like I still get to enjoy the things I've always liked. Like I still have drinks with friends. It just seems like it's less. And I might still indulge in like the pizza and the things like that, but it's so much less. So I feel like it's all just been less in moderation, as I always say.
That's great. So your lifestyle has changed and stuff. You still get to enjoy the good flavor of life, but you're just understanding the portions that you need in order to maintain the body that you want, along with that life and having fun. So that's great. Mm-hmm. And you have another 100 years to live now, healthier years, hopefully, as a result of this weight loss and continued weight loss. What is the goal now? You've lost more than 50 pounds. 50 pounds was the goal.
Yeah.
And I knew. What's in the future for you? What is now the goal? And is there a plan set up with Dr. G, with myself, as far as how you're going to start to come off or wean off of this medication and start to, just live your life? What's next?
Yeah. So I know we've talked about that. I was apprehensive about a lot of stuff going into this. I just didn't know what to expect. You gave me a lot of comfort in the knowledge and the information you gave me. And again, like with the support. And I remember I was thinking, okay, like this medication's amazing. It feels like such a blessing and a miracle. But what happens when I stop? And so I like that we talked kind of about that, like, okay, now our long-term plan, when I finally get to my goal weight loss, which I've met, but then of course I kind of want to keep going. Like I'm getting, a little greedy. So we've talked about like whenever I am ready, like when I find that whatever number I get to, we can slowly just start lowering the doses. And then instead of weekly, it can be like monthly or just whatever I'm comfortable with. And I liked that. Like I said, that gave me comfort knowing I can just like maintenance where I'm not going to have to be reliant on this medication for the rest of my life. But it's nice to know it's there whenever I might need an extra little kickstart. Just everything about this feels like this is attainable and sustainable, and I just couldn't be more thrilled.
Beautiful story from Stephanie. I appreciate it. Do you have anything else? We're here for you. I told you about the lifestyle coaching.
Yes.
The community that we're building for people like yourself, we're going to need it in the future. Don't want to be on the medication or need to be on it minimally, and want a place where you can, like-minded individuals who are continuing to reach goals and struggles to share a place. So we have that for you. We're supportive the whole time, and we really appreciate you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think that I feel like we've probably touched on it, but just the only other part of the journey or the experience was just, for me, it was just very slow and steady. Like that was my sweet spot. Like I feel like 4-pound weight loss a week was like my maximum, but usually it was like just 2 to 3, even sometimes just 1. And in the beginning, I felt like that could have been discouraging, but then I realized, like, no, I liked that was the process. I liked that it was just slow and like constantly, consistently progressing forward. I did like that part of it for me because other people I heard like, oh, I've lost, so much weight this week. And so at first I was like, I'm not doing as well. And then I realized like, no, I feel like, again, this is more sustainable. And I liked the process for me.
Semaglutide and tirzepatide can be powerful tools, but true transformation requires lasting lifestyle changes. I believe everyone deserves access to expert guidance, which is why I'm offering 2 free GLP-1 group coaching sessions. In other words, if you come to 6 sessions, that's only $16 per session. Affordable, yet invaluable support on your journey. For those seeking a more personalized approach, I also offer one-to-one coaching at $150 per session. My goal is to make expert advice accessible to all. Click the link below to begin your transformation, and I'll see you soon.